Hey everybody, it's Joy Packard. It's a Monday and it's a Monday evening already. I cannot believe it's already 7:20 p.m. and it's been an awesome day. I thought I would get on here and take a little break from what I was doing and say a quick hello to you guys and hope that everything is going well with whatever you're doing. I just wanted to get on here and say and let you know, as many of you know, my podcast is finally live, and it's taken so much blood, sweat, and tears, and I'm so happy to say that it is live. And so if you are on iTunes, if you're on iPhone, you can get it at Joy Reveals. That's the name of the podcast. It's all over my wall. And then if you have an Android phone, then it's on Stitcher. And so you can either catch the podcast on, like I say, on iTunes or Stitcher. And so I just wanted to get on here because, you know, there's just a lot of things that we do and we want to accomplish, and we have a lot of unfinished projects, right? We have a lot of things that we want to get done, and we never get them done. And so what I was I knew that, you know, I had all of these different projects that were going on that I wanted to get done, and one of them being my Amazon course, which is the next project to finish. This time last year, I remember telling myself, you know, by the end of 2017 or close to that time, I wanted to launch my podcast. And it's just been a dream of mine because, you know, they say that if you want to get your message to the world, that podcasting is one of the fastest ways to do so. And so, you know, Facebook Lives are great. We can email, we can do all these different things, but podcasting is one of the fastest ways to get your message out. And, you know, a lot of people ask, you know, why are you going to start a podcast? And, you know, I always have my reasons why, but one of the biggest reasons is I just love to help people. And I know that by doing a podcast, not only am I able to share information, you know, by the different things that we learn, but we can also basically, honestly, I know this is like a bold statement, but it's like, I'm wanting to change a lot of lives. And so I'm hoping that the topics that we pick, you know, if you haven't listened to them, there's 4 episodes available right now. It is live on iTunes. Like I say, it is live on Stitcher if you're on Android. So I would appreciate if you would, you know, look it up, just Joy Reveals. You can download, subscribe, and then leave a review. I would so much appreciate it. So one of the things that got me to that point, I just wanted to discuss with you guys to see if it can help you in some way. And that is basically taking, you know, the little things a lot of times, and we talk about this so much, you know, about having so many things that we want to get done. We want to get done so many, you know, we have so many projects that we want to get done. And so by taking these different steps, you know, I call it chunking. You know, and I'm sure that other people talk about this, but it's the way that I have to live my life. You know, I have 8 kids. And so in my mind all day long, I have to think a lot about each one of them. And I chunk it out. You know, this is the oldest and this is what's going on in her life. And maybe this is something that I can help her with. And then I've got Brandon, and, you know, I go all the way down to my baby. And I live my life this way. And it's basically helped me to accomplish so much more this way, right? And so whenever you have something that's going on in your life that overwhelms you and you know that you want to get it done, first of all, you need to put it in your head that no matter what, I was just talking to my husband about this morning, no matter what, I am going to get this done, right? And when you have that in your mind and you have that intention set, you know that you can get it done, right? So then you have to kind of backtrack and then, you know, basically work backwards and say, here's the date that I want it to be released on, and then here are the things that I need to do, right? And so basically that's how I had to do it in my podcast, you know? I was just telling, hey, Norma. And so thank you so much for your comments. You're so sweet. And so, you know, whenever you're looking at a project and you say, like, for example, podcasting, I had no idea how to start a podcast, right? And then it started showing up in my life on the very thing. And so basically I went to a podcast event in San Diego. It was a fast track. Did it cost more money? Of course. Did it get me there quicker? Of course. I didn't have to sit there and, you know, read the course, all these courses and find out the best microphone, you know, find out the best whatever it is, right? And so this is how it is. Like, if you don't know how to do something, it's okay, right? You take your time and you figure out what is the first step. Mine was, well, I had to find somebody who can teach me how to do it. Check. Then I had to go to the event. Check. Number 3, had to, do my my niche. What did I want to talk about? How to make my podcast cover. You get the picture. There's step by step by step by step. And this is the way that you can get things accomplished. If there's something that you want to do in your life, whether it's learn about how to better your health, whether it's how to further your business, whether it's how to make your relationship better with your spouse or your significant other or your friends, there are things out there that we can learn, right? But when we look at it as a whole, it's so overwhelming that we say, oh, I just don't know if I want to do this. So you just break it up. And I love using my podcast as an example because seriously, that's how it was for me, right? I didn't know how to do it. And a lot of times in our life, we don't know how to do things. So if we just take it and say, okay, first step, okay, that is done. And then, you'll never have to do that again. Like, I know what kind of microphone I need to use. I know what kind of microphone that needs to be used. I know what kind of, I know how to find a person to upload my podcast episodes to so that he can, put it into iTunes. I don't have to do it anymore. So I can, but I spend my time doing other things. And so if you have things in your life that you're trying to accomplish and you're kind of at a standstill or you're kind of stuck, which we all, get that way, we basically can just take it and write it down and work your way backwards. And you work your way backwards to the point where you say, this is where I want to be. This is how I need to get there. And so that's how you do it. And I wanted to share that with you because this podcast has been blood, sweat, and tears. And it's been step after step after step. But not big steps. They're just small steps. One step after another, right? And that's how I'll do my course. I have 13 modules. And I have 7 of them done. And so basically now I have to go back and review, the material. And then, I basically can say, today I'll basically say, I'm going to finish module 8 and I'm going to finish, module 8 today. And then, maybe tomorrow I'll move to the next one. So that's how you do it. You do it in small incremental steps. I remember, I think I told you the story several years ago. I was feeling like my health was really failing. Like I just wasn't feeling myself. I wasn't doing that. And so, hey, Angela. And so basically, everything that I do is you basically, just like I say with my health story, is I said, you know what? I'm not sure exactly what's going on, but I'm going to figure it out. And once you make a decision that you want to change something, it's like things show up in your life, right? So I went to a juicing retreat in California. It was amazing. It was 5 days, and it was every day we juiced and we did soup and we learned about our health and how, rebounding, and we learned about, a chi machine and just all these different things that I've never even heard about. And I was 46 years old. And so there's so much knowledge and information out there on any subject. Anything that you want to do, if you want to learn a musical instrument, if you want to learn how to better your health, you want to increase your business, if you want to be a better parent, better wife, better mother, whatever it is, there is a plethora of information out there that you can get a hold of. And so what you do is you just choose and you say, I'm going to figure out how to do this. And then you just delve yourself into, just delve into the material and you just start absorbing it. And it is amazing. The people that start showing up in your life, you start noticing more things. Like if you're reading stuff on the internet or you're, looking at magazines and stuff, and the things that pop out to you, it will start coming together. It's truly amazing on how it works. It's just wow, I wanted to learn about this, and now look, this person showed up in my life. And I wanted to learn about this, and this retreat, showed up in my life. And I went to it, learned so much stuff. So you see, it's just make your decision to basically do the things that you want to do. Learn the things that you want to do, and events, people, and a lot of different things will start to show up in your life. And that's the other thing too, is is setting your intentions for the day. whether you meditate or not, let's just say that you don't, but you can still set your intentions every single morning, and you can wake up every single day and say, you know what, today, this is what I'm going to do. And even if it's just one thing, all of us have the same amount of minutes and time in the day. I spent most of my day with my mother today, and it was great. And so if we set our intentions every single morning on what we want to accomplish, and then just every day we say, even if I just get one task done, moving toward that goal, the next day that task was done and I move again. And you do this pattern over and over and over again. And then you know what? Sooner or later, that project is going to come to pass. It's going to be finished. It's going to be like, wow, I started with this very first task and I'm on task number 30. And then guess what? Finally, it happened, from task 1 to task 30. And whether it takes you 30 days to finish it or whether it takes you 30 weeks to finish it, whatever it is, you're going to finish it. So like I say, my podcast was a great example of how this worked out. If you guys have not subscribed, I would appreciate you subscribing. It's called Joy Reveals. There's 4 episodes already. It's on iTunes and Stitcher for, for Android phones and stuff like that. So anyway, you feel free, a lot of people ask if you can share videos. You can share the video at the bottom of the screen. You can subscribe to these Facebook Lives, and you can now join me on your podcast. The next podcast, on episode number 5, we're going to be talking about goals and dream boards. And then guess what? After episode number 5, we're going to start bringing on experts. We're going to start bringing on experts in different fields, and we're going to start talking about Amazon. We're going to talk about health. We're going to be talking about travel benefits and little things. And what we're trying to do is keep these episodes under 15 minutes if possible, so that it's not very long for you. If you can say, today I'm going to listen to 1 episode of someone's podcast, and it just makes you feel, to me, it's like I can get that done. I can get through 1 podcast if it's this low. Now, there are awesome podcasts out there that are hours long, and I do listen to those. I'm just saying, for mine, I'm trying to keep it to where, you will feel that you can actually listen to an episode. Those of you who've already listened, you probably could listen to all 4 episodes in less than 30 minutes. And so it's the base, we start with, what is your why? And the second one is called, the key of forgiveness, or something like that. I can't remember the names of the titles. The 3rd episode is, what is your perfect day? And your 4th episode is, maybe someone can help me out. I don't even remember. What is your perfect day? And then I remember what the 4th one was. Oh, your worry list, and how you can make that happen, help you in some way. The 5th episode is going to be talking about goals and dream boards, and it's just such a passion of mine to talk about that, to help people fulfill their dreams. And so anyway, I'm so excited to share several topics with you guys. There's going to be so much information to share. And, I think it's just because, there's so many things that I learn, and I feel like, why keep it to myself, And so the purpose of the podcast, let me see something real quick. Here it is. When I went to my event, and I'll just leave you with this. This is my podcast workbook that I went to when I went to San Diego. And the very first page says, I'm starting a podcast, and I'm going to leave this with you before I let you go. And it's basically, this is kind of like a great example of what you need to do and remind yourself when you're trying to get something done, and then you have a stumbling block or something in your way that's stopping you. Maybe you had a negative influencer that said something to you about whatever you're trying to do, and it made you feel like you couldn't do it anymore. Maybe you forgot exactly why. And I haven't read this in a few days, so I'm going to just read it again. I'm going to share it with you. There's about 9 or 10 of them. This is one of the reasons I was starting a podcast. 1, to share the things I know with others. Number 2, to help others. Number 3, to increase my business. So, basically, by doing this, then it basically gets who I am out there in my brand. Number 4, to help others make money, right? So you're helping others. Number 5, to make a difference in the world. I know that's such a bold statement, but guess what? You can make a difference in the world too. You don't have to start a podcast. There's so many things that you can do. As a group, we can every single day share, show kindness. That's changing the world, So let's see, to have a voice in my arena, to help those I'm interviewing get their message out to the world. You know, there are several people who have awesome messages, and, you know, a lot of people need to hear what they have to say. To help myself to be organized. Basically, this is almost like my journal. And I'll just share with you one more. To have something that my kids can take over. And so, you know, I think about my family, I think about my children and the legacy that I can leave. And so whenever you ever have any doubts about what you're doing, if you have something like this written down, and the very first podcast episode that I did is called, What is Your Why? And, you know, this is the why of my podcast. In that episode, it's talking about your why in general, of who you are as a person, you know, and just figuring out on a day-to-day basis of how you know, what your purpose is. You know, like I look at my day-to-day, and, you know, I woke up today and I spent like 90% of my day with my mother. But guess what? You know what? That was just like so special to me, because like, how often can you do that? You know, the computer and work is always going to be here. You know, I was also helping another daughter find a house. We're having another one of our kids moving close by. And so that's so neat. So this is like I say, this was in my notebook. Don't even remember that when I wrote it. You can have your own journals. And in episode 1, we take you through an exercise on my podcast where it takes you through your why. So whenever you are forgetting and you're going through a hard time in your life, and you're in your business, and, you know, you're so excited because, you know, anything that you do when like say that you're starting a business, and you know, there's reasons why you do it. One could be the very fact of stabilizing yourself and stabilizing your family. And then you hit these blocks and you say, this is so hard. And then you have your why to refer to, right? So always have something to refer back to, and it will help you. So thanks for taking some of your Monday evening to be on here. I haven't been on Facebook hardly at all day today, because I've just been running around, you know, taking care of my kids and taking care of my mom, and just making phone calls here and there with everything that we're doing. So I hope you can remember all of these different things that we talk about, because I hope it helps you in some way. It helps me on every single day. All these things that I share with you are things that I implement in my own life. It's not just something that I talk about. It's something that I actually do. And so I hope it's helped you in some way. Thanks for listening. Thank you guys, for those of you who have subscribed to our podcast and left your reviews already. It is already making the show go up in ratings. I appreciate that so, so much. So again, thanks for listening. Feel free to turn on your notifications, share the video, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your evening. Take care. Bye.